Hello, students. Welcome to Gyanvihar School of Education, Suresh Gyanvihar University. I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal, and today I will be teaching you in the continuation Indian Constitution and Status of Education. So, in the last class, we have seen about constitution and what is its preamble, and we have discussed the introductory part also. So, let's see, students, about today's class, and I really hope that you will listen attentively and understand about today's class. So, my learning objective of today's class is to make you understand about the Indian Constitution's articles which are related to right to freedom. All right. And we will also study about RTI. So, let's study and see it in a more elaborative manner and understand it in a clear way. So, students, Indian Constitution and Status of Education, which we are studying, we have already studied about constitutional provisions, preamble, and features. Now, it's time to see fundamental rights and duties, directive principles of state policy, right to information, RTI, constitutional values in the context of education, LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization of in education and impact of Indian society. So, students, we are going to see it in a detailed manner, and I really hope that whatever you have learned in the last class, you will understand it in a more proper way. So let's start with Indian Constitution. That is beautiful emblem Satyamev Jayate starts with it. Now, just to have a look or a recapitalization, I'm again telling you what is constitution. So almost everything we do is governed by some set of rules. There are rules for games like soccer, for social clubs, and for adults in the workplace. So there are also rules imposed by morality and custom that play an important role in telling us that we should and should not do. So the term constitution comes through the Latin word constitutio and used for regulation and orders. So it means that constitution can be considered as an higher authority or set of rules for every citizen of India. So what we must do and we must not do is all governed by Indian constitution. So let's study it in a more proper way. We have also studied about parts of Constitution of India. We have seen that many parts of the Constitution are taken from another countries also. And we discussed about it that India is actually working on this strong belief of Vasudev Kutumbakam. So it's preamble with the words socialist and secular, added in 1976 by the 42nd Amendment, and there are 22 parts which are taken from different countries and different actually concepts. So what are those parts of constitution of India? Let's see it in a detail. So part 1 deals with states and union territories. Part 2 is about citizenship. Part 3, fundamental rights. Part 4th, directive principles of state policy. Part 5th, 4th A, fundamental duties. Part 5th is about the union. Part 6th, the states. Part 7, states in the B part of the first schedule, that is repealed. And then part 8 is about union territories. Part 9 is related to panchayats. Part 9th A is related to municipalities. Part 9th B is about cooperative societies. Part 10th is about scheduled and tribal areas. So part 11th, relationship between union and the states. Part 12 deals with finance, property, contracts, and suits. And part 13 related to trade, commerce within India. Part 4 students related to science services under the union and states. And then part of 14th A is related to tribunals. Then part 15th is related to elections. So understand students and keep learning them also along with me. And part 16th is related to special provisions relating to certain classes. And then part 17th is related to languages. Part 18th related to emergency provisions. Then part 19th related to miscellaneous provisions. And then part 20 is related to amending the constitution. Part 21 deals with temporary, transitional, and special provisions. Part 22 is dealing with short title, date of commencement, authoritative text in Hindi, and repeals. So these are the different parts of Constitution of India, students, and these are the different actually areas from which these parts belong to. So now we are going to discuss from Article 12 to 35. And this is about fundamental rights in part 3rd. So let's study it in a detail. So students, fundamental right is a character of rights contained in the part 3 Constitution of India. So fundamental right is something that every human being is having, but what it is, so it guarantees civil liberty such that all Indians can lead their lives in peace and harmony as citizens of India. So fundamental rights are defined as basic human freedoms that every Indian citizen has the right to enjoy for a proper and harmonious development of personality, and all the Indians are having same rights in same all conditions. So this is something very important for all of you to understand, that fundamental rights are a good source that how we can live with freedom. So understand this in that way, that these rights university apply to all citizens irrespective of race, place of birth, religion, caste, or gender. Alliance persons who are not citizens of India are also considered in matters like equality before law. So they are enforceable by the courts, subject to certain restrictions. So fundamental rights are defined as basic human freedom that every Indian citizen has the right to enjoy for a proper and harmonious development of personality. So all are having equal rights. So, know your fundamental rights, students: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, right to culture and education, right to constitutional remedies. Now, fundamental rights and duties. So, first of all, we are going to discuss about right to equality. And Article 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, they are related to right to equality. So, Article 14 is related to equality before law and equal protection of law to every citizen of India. Then Article 15 is also very important, and prohibition of discrimination on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. So there is no discrimination. Then Article 16 is about equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. So Article 17 is about end of untouchability. And Article 18 is about abolition of titles. Military and academic distinctions are, however, exempted. So this is all about right to equality, and Article 14 to 18 is about right to equality. Now, students, let's discuss about right to freedom. So, right to freedom is from Article 19 to Article 22. Article 19 guarantees the citizen of India the following six fundamental freedoms, which are freedom of speech and expressions, freedom of assembly, freedom of to form associations, freedom of movement, freedom of residence and settlement, freedom of profession, occupation, trade, and business. Then Article 20 deals with protection in respect of conviction for offences. Article 21 deals with protection of life and personal liberty. Then Article 21A is dealing with right to education. Very important article. Remember it. Article 21A, it deals with right to education. So, Article 22 is about protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Now, it's about right against exploitation. Article 23 and 24 are specially set for these rights. So, Article 23 is about trafficking and forced labor in human beings prohibited. Article 23 declares slave trade, prostitution, and human trafficking a punishable offense. Then Article 24 is about that no child below the age of 14 can be employed. Then right to freedom of religion. Article 25, 26, 27, 28. These are related to rights to freedom of religion. So what does Article 25 says? It says that freedom of conscience and free professions, practice and propagation of religion. Then Article 26 is about freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27 is about prohibits taxes on religious grounds. Then Article 28 is about freedom as to attendance at religious instructions or religious worship in certain educational institutions. So this is about right to freedom of religion. Now students, very important two articles which are related to cultural and educational rights, and they are Article 29 and Article 30. So Article 29 is dealing with protection of interest of minorities. This article confers the freedom to all citizens residing in different parts of the land to conserve their distinct languages, scripts, or culture. States shall not impose upon it any culture other than the community's own culture. So state will not impose any culture on them. This article further assures that no citizen shall be denied admission into any state-run or state-aided educational institutions on the ground of only of religion, race, caste, language, or any of them. So this is about protection of interest of minorities. Now let's study about Article 30, that is about rights of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. So this article confers that the right to establish an educational institution by the minorities, the right to administer it, and the right to get state grants for it without discrimination. So this is about Article 29 and 30, which are really about cultural and educational rights of minorities. Now, students, this is about right to constitutional remedies. This is also very important, and the right to move to the Supreme Court in case of their violation. So Article 32 is related to that. So it is also called the soul and heart of the Constitution by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. So Article 32 provides that the Supreme Court shall have the power to issue directions or order uh, or writs, including the writs in the nature of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, and quo criterio, whichever may be. So, appropriate for the enforcement of any of the rights conferred by fundamental rights. So the citizens are given the right to move the Supreme Court in case of transgression of fundamental rights. So this is very important right, and every citizen must understand that the violation of rights is cured by Supreme Court. So the citizens are given the right to move in High Court under Article 226. And one more important thing that has to be understood, that this Article 32 is called the soul of the Constitution by Bhimrao Ambedkar. Now, these are some important things in Article 32, that is Bandi Pratyakshikaran. Habeas corpus, a writ of habeas corpus, directs a person, usually a prison warden, to produce the prisoner and justify the prisoner's detention. Then mandamus. A writ of mandamus is an order from a court to an inferior government official ordering the government official to properly fulfill their official duties or correct an abuse of discretion. Then prohibition. A writ of prohibition is an order directed to the judge and parties of a suit in a lower court, ordered the court not to exercise jurisdiction in a particular case. A writ called upon a person to show by what authority he or she claims an office, franchise, or liberty. Then criteria, that is a writ of criteria orders a lower court to deliver its record in a case so that the higher court may review it. All right, students, so this is about criteria. Now, after studying about freedom of rights, now let's study about fundamental duties also. It is very correct that all the citizens are having rights, and there are many rights we have discussed in various articles, but there are many duties also, so which are called fundamental duties, and it is mentioned in article 51A, part 4th A of the Indian Constitution, and it specifies, students, the list of fundamental duties of the citizens. It says it shall be the duty of every citizen of India, first, to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideal and Constitution, its institutions. So, secondly, to appreciate and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Then, next duty is to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. Then, next is about to defend the country and render national services when called upon to do so. So, to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, and regional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. So this is how fundamental duties are also mentioned in Constitution, and which are really important for every Indian citizen to follow them rigorously. It is also expected from Indian citizens to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, and also to protect and improve the natural environment, including forest, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. It is also expected from the citizen to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. It is also expected to safeguard public property and to give up violence, and to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity. so that the nation constantly rises to higher level of individual and achievement. Further, one more fundamental duty has been added to the Indian Constitution by 86th Amendment of the Constitution in 2002, and to provide opportunities for education to his child and or ward, as the case may be, between the age of 6 and 14 years. So this is included in the duties of the parents according to the constitution, that parents must educate their children. All right, students, so this is how about fundamental duties. And now let's discuss about directive principles in state policy. So directive principles, as its name suggests, that directives principles are something which is actually directing the policies of states. So what are those? Let's understand it in detail. So students, directive principles of state policy are in the form of instructions, guidelines to the government at the center as well as states. Though these principles are fundamental in the governance of country, the idea of directive principles of state policy has been taken from the Irish Republic. All of you must remember it, that it has been taken from Irish Republic. So they were introduced and incorporate in our constitution in order to provide economic justice and to avoid concentration of wealth in the hands of few people. So therefore, no government can afford to ignore them. They are in fact the directives of the future governments as well, to incorporate them in the decisions and policies to be formulated by them. Now students, let's have a look on the directive principles part 4th, article 36 to 51. So directive principles part 4th, article 36 to 51. The classification of these are as follows: socioeconomic principles, number 2 liberal principles, number 3 is about Gandhian principles, number 4 is about international principles. Now we will see from these articles in these 4 parts. So first of all, let's discuss about socio-economic principles. And in this, article 38, 39A, 39B, 39C are mainly involved. So let's study. Uh, Article 38 is about that the state shall endeavor to formulate such social system which will secure social, economic, political justice to all in all the spheres of life. Then Article 39A is that the state shall try to formulate its policy in such a manner so as to secure adequate means of livelihood for all its citizens. So nowadays you can see that there is a lot of problem related to unemployment. But this is also included in the directive principles for the state governments, that they must create and secure adequate means of livelihood for the citizens. Then Article 39B tells us the ownership of material resources would be controlled in such a manner so as to subserve the common good. Then Article 39C is the economy of the state will be administered in such a manner so that the wealth may not yet be concentrated in few hands, and the means of production may not be used against the public interest. Now, Article 41 is about that the state will work. State will work within the limits of its economic feasibility and progress, provide to the citizens of the right to work, the right to education, and general assistance in the event of unemployment, old age, disease, and other disabilities. Then Article 42 is about the state will make provisions for the creation of just and humane condition of work. Then Article 43 is about the state will ensure adequate wages, good life, and rest to the laborers. Then the state will also endeavor to make available to the laborers various socio-cultural facilities. Now directive principles are related to liberal principles. Second part is about liberal principles and Article 45 starts with it. Article 44, the state shall endeavor to formulate and implement a uniform civil code for all the people living throughout the territory of India. All right, students. So this is about liberal principles. Then Article 45, it says and provide early childhood care and education for all the children until they complete the age of 6 years. Then Article 47 is about the state shall strive to raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living. Thus, it will endeavor to improve upon the health of the people. And Article 48 is about organizing agriculture and husbandry on modern and scientific lines. It will also try to maintain and improve upon the breed of the animals. So, this is about article which are related to liberal principles. Article 50 is related to state will try to separate the judiciary from the executive in the case of public service. Now let's talk about Gandhian principles and directive principles to students, and they are mainly related to Article 40, 43, 47, and 48. So Article 40 says state will strive to organize panchayats in villages and will endure them such powers which enable them to act as units of self-government. And Article 43, the state shall strive to develop the cottage industry in the rural areas both on individual and cooperative basis. Article 47, the state will strive to ban the consumption of wine, other intoxicating drinks, and all such commodities which are considered injurious to health. Article 48 reveals that state will ban slaughtering of calves, and other milk cattle. So these are the principles which are related or influenced by Gandhian principles. Now, international principles. Article 51A, 51B, 51C are related to international principles. And according to Article 51A, the state will strive to promote international peace and security for the citizens. Then Article 51B is about the state will strive to maintain just and honorable relations among various states in the world. Article 51 is about the state will endeavor to promote respect for international treaties, agreements, and laws. Now, students, let's understand about right to information that came in 2005, RTI. We have studied about right, freedom, right, and then we have studied about rights, duties, and then directive principles. Now we are going to study about right to information in very detail. So this law came into existence in 2005. This law was passed by Parliament on June 15, 2005 and came fully into force on 12th October 2005. So right to information is a fundamental right, students, under Article 19(1) of the Constitution. So as early as in the 1976, the Supreme Court said in the case of Raj Narayan versus the State of UP that people cannot speak or express themselves unless they know. So when they are supposed to know, they have some rights. So therefore, right to information is embedded in Article 19 and is a fundamental right. So in the same case, Supreme Court further said that India is a democratic country. And here the people are the masters. Therefore, the masters have a right to know how the government mean to serve them are functioning. Now, common man can ask from government how they are doing the particular thing. Further, every citizen pays taxes. The citizens therefore have a right to know how their money was being spent. So, three principles were laid down by the Supreme Court while saying that RTI is a fundamental right of the people of India. So, understood, students, that this actually law was passed by Parliament in 2005, June 15, and but it fully started came into force by 12th October 2005. So, first of all, what is information according to the law? Let's understand it. What do you call an information? So, information is any material in any form. It includes records, documents, memos, emails, opinions, advices, press releases, circulars, orders, logbooks, contracts, reports, papers, samples, models, data material held in any electronic form or anything. That is called information. It also includes information relating to any private body which can be accessed by the public authority under any law for the time being in force. So, this is how information is working. Now, objectives of RTI. So, for what purpose RTI was set up? So, the basic objectives of the Right to Information Act is to empower the citizens, to promote the transparency and accountability in the working of the government, to control corruption, to enhance people's participation in democratic process, thereby making our democracy work for the people in a real sense. It goes without saying that an informed citizen is better equipped to keep necessary vigil on the instruments of government and make the government more accountable to the governed. The act is a big step, students, towards making the citizens informed about the activities of the government. So it is really good for the people where the democratic values are really in practice. Now let's understand the procedures of RTI by public. How it is done or completed in procedure. So the number one, the public authority. A public authority is any authority or body or institution of government established or constituted. Parliament or a state legislature or by notification issued or ordered made by central government or a state government. So this is called public authority. So the bodies owned, controlled, or substantially financed by the central government or a state government are also public authorities. So the non-government organizations substantially financed by the central government or a state government also fall within the definition of public authority. Now let's understand about public information officer. So public authorities have designated some of its officers as public information officers. They are responsible to give information to a person who seeks information under the RTI Act. So they have to give the information. Then assistant public information officer, and these officers send the application or appeal to the public information officer of the public authority or the concerned appellate authority. Now, students, let's understand right to information under the Act in a more elaborative way. So, Right to Information Act 2005 empowers every citizen. It is a wonderful way of empowering the citizens, and it empowers every citizen to ask any question from the government or seek any information at any time, and take copies of any government documents. Any citizen can inspect any government documents, inspect any government works, take samples of materials of any government works, how it is done. So, isn't it very a good way of leading a democratic value country? Now, let's know about fee for seeking information. A citizen who desires to seek some information from a public authority is required to send along with the application a demand draft or a banker's check or an Indian postal order of rupees 10 payable to the accounts officer of the public authority as fee prescribed for seeking information. Now, the applicant may also be required to pay further fee towards the cost of providing the information, details of which shall be intimated to the applicant by the PIO as prescribed by the Right to Information Rules 2012. Rates of fee are as prescribed in the rules are given below. So you understand on it is seen in my screen also. So number one, rupees 2 for each page in A3 or smaller size paper. Next, actual cost or price of photocopy in larger size paper. The next is about actual cost or price of samples of models. Then rupees 50 for disk or floppy, and price fixed for publication or rupees 2 or per page of photocopy for extracts from the publication. So much of postal charges involved in supply of information that exceeds 50 rupees. Now, let's understand about the format of RTI application. So, there is no prescribed format of application for seeking RTI information. The application can be made on plain paper. The applicant should mention the address at which the information is required to be sent. The information seeker is not required to give reasons for seeking information. So, it is not necessary for a person to mention the reasons as well. So, the person is fully authorized to know about any information. Now, let's know about the time period for supply of information. So, in a normal course, information to an applicant shall be supplied within 30 days from the application given time. From the receipt of application by the public authority, it is if information sought concerns the life of liberty of a person It shall be supplied within 48 hours. If there is any danger of life and the person is seeking any information, then within 48 hours, this work will be done. Further details in this regard are given in part 4th, like for the public information officers. Appeals. If an applicant is not supplied information within the prescribed time of 30 days, or she is not satisfied with the information furnished to him, so he may prefer an appeal to the first appellate authority, who is an officer senior in rank to the public information officer. So there is a system of appealing also, that we are not satisfied with the information you have furnished with us. So it's really a very good system. RTI online and complaint. How it is done? Let's understand this also. So Department of Personnel and Training has launched a web portal. It's very important for all of you to understand about it, students. So there is a web portal, namely RTI online, with URL is www.rtionline.gov.in for all central ministries and departments. So the prescribed RTI fee can also be paid online. Reply to the RTI applications and first appeals received online can also be given online by the respective PIOS and FAAS. Now, students, let's have a look on the different organizations exempted from providing information under RTI Act. It is not like that. People can know anything which is actually staking the safety and security of country, and the informations will not be leaked. So what are those exempted sections? Let's understand them. So first of all, Intelligence Bureau, Ministry of Home Affairs is free from that. So these are the organizations exempted from providing information under RTI Act. They are not actually liable to give the information. Then Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, Ministry of Finance, Central Economic Intelligence Bureau, Ministry of Finance, Narcotics Control Bureau, Border Security Force, Ministry of Home Affairs, Central Reserve Police Force, Ministry of Home Affairs, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, Ministry of Home Affairs, Central Industrial Security Force, Ministry of Home Affairs, National Security Guard, Ministry of Home Affairs, Research and Analysis Wing of the Cabinet Secretariat, Assam Rifles, Ministry of Home Affairs, Sahasta Seema Bal, Ministry of Home Affairs, Defense Research and Development Organization, Ministry of Defense, Border Road Development Organization, Financial Intelligence Unit India, Directorate General Income Tax Investigation, National Technical Research Organization, and National Security Council Secretariat. So students, you must have understood that these are the important organizations, agencies which are really exempted from giving any information under RTI Act. Now, constitutional values and their analysis. So, the constitution of any country serves several purposes. It lays down certain ideals that form the basis of the kind of country that we as citizens aspire to live in. So, a country is usually made up of different communities of people who share certain beliefs but may not necessarily agree on all issues. So, a constitution serves as a set of principles, rules, and procedures on which there is an agreement. So, these form the basis according to which the people want the country to be governed and the society to move on. This includes not only an agreement on the type of government but also on certain ideals that the country should maintain. The Indian Constitution has certain core constitutional values that constitute its spirit and are expressed in various articles and provisions. So these are the constitutional values and their analysis. Now, students, this is a quiz time, and I hope really you will answer some of the questions. And you just answer these questions in my comment box as they are very important from the Constitution. So, question number one deals with in 1934 dash demanded for a constituent assembly for the first time. Indian National Congress, Swaraj Party, Forward Bloc, Communist Party. Yes, students, answer in my comment box. The Indian Constitution was drafted by Congress, B. Constituent Assembly, C. Judicial Assembly, D. Hindu Mahasabha. So I'm waiting for your answers now. Next question. In Nepal, the struggle of democracy started in 1990, B 1991, C 1992, D 1994. Next, very interesting question. The father of Indian Constitution is Dr. B. Rao Ambedkar, B. Liaquat Ali Khan, C. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, or D. S.C. Sinha. So please hurry up, students. Answer me in comment box. Now, next is to ensure greater economic and social reforms. The Constitution introduced A. Directive principles of state policy. B. Fundamental rights. C. Judiciary rights. D. Executive rights. Then question 6 is a group of people who make laws and run the government. So it's about A. Congress, B. Judiciary, C. Government, D. Executive. So these are the important questions, students, that you must answer. So students, I really hope that you have well understood about rights, duties, directive principles, and RTI Act, what it is and how it works for the Indian people. So I really believe that if you all going to understand it in a very good way, you will understand more about your own Indian constitutional system. So students, see you in the next class with more information about Indian Constitution in the continuation. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, and keep planning. See you, students. Thank you.